Whenever you have a disagreement with someone, it is important to fully understand the other person's viewpoints so that you can discern a clear view of their beliefs. Over the past few days since I made the video responding to the Bulldog Mindset, I decided to do just that and to look at some more of his content to get a better understanding of who he is. After some thorough examination, I can say that I actually agree with him on a good bit of his points as it relates to MGTOW and life in general. I made a video about dancing with the devil, and this is me doing exactly that. Although I wouldn't say that he is complete opposition, but rather has a different angle of attack to the same problem. It's kind of like those anime where there's one character who always wants to use peaceful methods to defeat the villain, while the other character just wants to fight and win through violence. The whole MLK and Malcolm X dynamic going on there. But today, I decided to make a video responding to his latest video about MGTOW, and hopefully giving a different perspective on what MGTOW is like, since I don't believe it is a cult, at least it doesn't have to be. Now, without further ado, let's begin.
But the guys on YouTube, okay, that are, I mean, if you got time to fucking make videos about me all day long, like make 3 videos in a row about me, and sit on fucking chat playing fucking poker and chatting it up about me and telling all your followers to come over to my videos and downvote them, and some of the guys like literally making hundreds of comments, okay, calling me a cuck or simp or whatever the fuck, all right? I'm sorry, but you're a fucking loser. You are not actually going your own way. You're not actually improving and working on yourself. Like, your personal development skills, they suck ball.
I'm inclined to agree with him here, because it is a complete waste of time to try to convince people through violence. What do you plan to accomplish by going to his channel and leaving a mean comment? If you just want to hurt his feelings, then you are wasting your time, because hurting his feelings brings no value to your life. If you're trying to convince him that MGTOW is not what he thinks he is, why would you go and leave a nasty comment to confirm his beliefs? As a general rule of thumb, attacking the opposition only gets them to cling to their idea even more, because they are forced to defend themselves against your assaults. It's like if you opened fire on the enemy trenches and expected them to be willing to walk over to your side and join you while you are still shooting. It never works and only drives the debating parties further apart.
Fuck, you're just hating on men and you're hating on women. It's not productive. It's not actually producing anything good, and you're not improving yourself.
Again, I agree with what he's saying here as well. Attacking people does not make you stronger, it just makes them weaker. That is why building yourself is a more effective strategy, because not only will you become stronger than them, effectively making them weaker, but you will also be able to withstand a greater storm as well, because you yourself are stronger.
And I understand the whole red pill rage thing. A lot of people think I don't understand that. I understand it from a conceptual viewpoint, but I never went through it. You know why? Because when I started to understand the red pill philosophy, okay, I looked at it from a stoic viewpoint. I looked at it from a perspective of saying, okay, that's interesting. This is the reality. You accept the current reality without an emotional attachment to it, and that you say, okay, this is what it is. It is what it is. If I want to change something, then I will do something, but I'm not going to get upset. I'm not going to get angry.
Unfortunately, most men, or rather most people in general, cannot do that. I only learned about stoicism after finding the red pill, so I went through the rage as well. But for me, the rage didn't really stem from the fact that reality wasn't the ideal world I thought it should be, because I already knew that most of life is suffering and that the good moments are the rarest moments. For me, the rage came from the idea of being lied to and left willfully ignorant my entire life. I had wished somebody told me the truth instead of making me look like a fool for following their treat all women like queens mindset. I was angry because the tools they gave me were broken, yet they still expected me to get the job done. I suspect that this is the case for a lot of guys. Stoicism must be built over time. It is not an intrinsic trait to most people, so it is unreasonable to expect that these men will not be angry when they discover the truth.
It's a trap. It's a lie. It's become a cult. Okay? It's become a cult, and I know it's become a cult when I see hundreds and hundreds of comments on my videos saying the same fucking thing. When I go in and I actually debate a MGTOW person, TFM I did on, you can check that out, all right? And it's an echo chamber in the channel, in the Discord channel of the chat, of the same fucking things.
The reason they repeat the same things is because they are effective talking points. For example, anytime you mention communism, people will mention the shit show that was the Soviet Union. Just because they mention it every time doesn't mean it isn't a valid counterpoint. If every time you mention marriage, somebody mentions divorce or family court, it's because they want you to argue against those things if you want them to support marriage. Unfortunately, this is damn near impossible, so most guys just use it as their trump card in every debate.
They say, oh yeah, we have some lawyers or some people that are successful. Bullshit. Where are they? They're not the ones making videos, I can tell you that.
This may sound like I'm bragging, but bear with me for a second as I let you know what my experience was like after discovering MGTOW. I was able to excel in my internship, so much so that I got a publication done within my first year. Most undergraduates do not even have research experience, so this already put me in the top 90th percentile of undergrads in my discipline. I then used that momentum to get a position doing research at an Ivy League institution for a few months, which enabled me to present at one of the most prestigious conferences for undergraduates. After that, I started applying for graduate school, and I immediately limited myself to the top 20 of my field. I told myself it's either Ivy tier or bust, so if I don't get into the top, I won't even bother going. The lowest ranked school I applied to was ranked 12, and I got into 7 of the 10 that I sent an application for, including the number 2 school in the country. I likely could have gotten into the number 1 school, but I found that the people who go there make that their identity, so they become tiresome to be around. I'm the top student in my department, and I have obtained numerous accolades throughout my academic career, so I would say I'm pretty successful. However, this only happened after I discovered MGTOW 2 years ago. I was able to make that much progress in 2 years because MGTOW freed me from all outside influences and allowed me to finally ask myself what I wanted in life, not what everybody else around me expected. This allowed me to excel because I finally was pursuing what I wanted to pursue instead of a path that was laid out for me. The reason I said all this is to say, in the right hands, MGTOW is probably the most powerful ideology to ever be given to a man. However, such power requires that you harness it properly, which I concede that most guys don't do. They don't take the ideology and use it as an opportunity to better themselves. They instead use it to become complacent. But with such freedom, their choices are theirs alone. So I'm of the belief that they should be allowed to do whatever they want if they can afford to and it makes them happy. After all, the purpose of the ideology is to find what you believe is fulfilling in the world and to go after it. If you find sex dolls and poker satisfying, then more power to you, man.
Do you want to have financial success or be financially independent? Does money matter? No. What matters is freedom. Money buys freedom.
I completely agree with him here, which is why I pursue a well-paying job. I believe with enough money, you can experience literally anything you want in life. Because I am after absolute freedom, it only makes sense for me to pursue as much money as possible as a means to an end. This does not mean to say that money should be your metric for happiness, rather that you should have enough money to forge a reality you want for yourself. You should never pursue money for the sake of having money, because that will lead you into a vicious feedback loop where you are never satisfied and always desire more.
True nature of women, all right? Well, you didn't discover it. Well, you have been taught it, the red pill ideology, which is the truth, okay? And you have said, whoa, shit, if this is how they are, I don't want anything to do with them. Instead of manning up, learning how to handle them, okay? Learning how to handle. Women have always been women throughout the centuries. Throughout history, throughout time. You think that this red pill knowledge that you have is something that is new today because of fucking Tinder or because of the breakdown of marriages and the family? Sure, there's some contributing factors to it, but it's only exposed what is the actual biological nature.
Manning up and learning how to handle them requires effort. Generally, if you put effort into something, then you are expecting an equal or greater payout in the future. What is the payoff for learning how to tolerate the modern woman? There is not much to gain, yet you must put in so much effort just to be able to tolerate them for an extended period of time. It isn't worth the investment. At least that's how MGTOW see it. The only thing a relationship offers at this point is having children, because sex is readily available and companionship is available without a woman. Sure, they have been the same for centuries, but they were not able to act upon their nature for the majority of recorded history because shaming and social ostracism were used to keep them from indulging their desires. However, as a society becomes more free, people become closer to their biological proclivities, so women become more hypergamous as they were given more freedom. Thus, the modern woman personifies the universal female nature unshackled and laid bare for all to witness.
Yet, you choose to say, whoa, they need to change. You want to change a biological function of the society and a social structure of the society. Okay, I agree with you, some of the fucked up things in the social structure, but you want all of that to change for you, or you're going to go your own way. Well, you know what? How about mastering the domain? It's like you're on a boat, okay? It's like you're a captain of a fucking boat, and you're sailing through the ocean, through the seas, and you see some fucking storm ahead, and you want to get to the location you're supposed to go, and you're like, fuck that! If the ocean's gonna be fucking rough, I guess I'm gonna turn the fuck around. I'm not gonna sail on an ocean that doesn't obey, that doesn't perform the way that I want. I want the fucking wind to be blowing this way. I don't want big ass waves. I'm just gonna fucking sail a different way then. That's bullshit. That's what you're doing. You don't have that option in life. I mean, sure, you can choose that option, but you're not gonna get to what you want out of life.
This is disingenuous because MGTOW are not planning for societal change. It is the MRA who are actively trying to change things. MGTOW are simply avoiding the problem because it is a crisis that can easily be averted. To fix this analogy, let's say there is an island called happiness that you want to go to. On the way to that island, there are two paths. One is the marriage path. It's stormy, there's a lot of rocks in the water, but if you're part of the lucky half that make it through, you can reach happiness. On the other path, called MGTOW, it's relatively calm. Sure, there are the occasional storms and hurdles of life in there, but for the most part, it isn't too difficult to navigate, and you can still make your way to the island of happiness. Which path would you rather take? Avoiding the stormy route is a perfectly logical decision because you can still attain what you want without taking that stormy route.
MGTOW was a lie because what is it promising? At the surface level, it's saying, I'm going to teach you to be a better man, to develop yourself, to stop caring about women, stop seeking validation, to understand the truth of reality, and to become a stronger man and go your own way and become successful. But it's a lie because it doesn't do any of those things. Instead, what MGTOW is actually doing, okay, at least in the communities online that I've seen, look at the fucking comments. Do you want to be that kind of a fucking loser?
MGTOW isn't necessarily promoting anything. MGTOW is literally only two things: no marriage and no cohabitation. Other than that, you can feel free to do whatever you want with your life. If you wish to build yourself into the best possible person you can be, which I highly recommend, then go for it. However, that same freedom allows you to sit on your ass all day and do nothing but watch time pass you by. That's the thing about freedom that most people don't understand. If you have an ideology that allows people to be free, then you must be willing to accept the fact that they will do things you don't approve of.
You know what? Call the bulldog mindset, bullcuck mindset, or bullfrog. I don't give a fuck. What do I care? What do I care? I don't care. Okay? I care about saving the few that I can.
You said it yourself. You don't see reasonable MGTOW in your comments, so don't even bother trying to save anyone. You cannot save a man from himself, especially if he believes he is on the right path, so don't even try. You're only damaging your own name and message in the process.
If it hadn't become a cult, I would be preaching the MGTOW philosophy. I would be telling men. In fact, I do. Okay, I just don't call it MGTOW. Okay, maybe the form of MGTOW that I teach is the actual true and pure form. And you guys are all fucking phonies. This is something to really think about here. Okay, because what do I tell guys? Like, think about it. What do I tell guys? Okay, I know you don't like the dating stuff. That's fine. But look, what do I tell them? I tell them how to become stronger. I tell them how to become more masculine, okay? Against feminine, or not feminine, feminism, okay? Women should be feminine, but feminism, I'm against those things. I'm against social justice warriors and political correctness. Okay, I tell men not to cohabitate or to be very careful if they choose to step into marriage. I tell them to avoid it, that it is against their. In fact, a lot of my videos that talk about dating advice, I tell guys don't get into a serious relationship until your 30s. Okay, and I have some reasons for that. I won't go into the details. It's a cult.
This is the main reason why I think he isn't unreasonable. He isn't like the tradcons who try to force us to get married. He is aware of the family courts and actively warns other men before they make the choice. As far as I'm concerned, that's all he needs to do to get my approval. Like I said before, MGTOW is simply no marriage and no cohabitation. Anyone who preaches those two things is an ally in my mind.
Is that the greatest factor that will determine who you become in life is who you're around. Environment is everything. And if you want to be successful, if you want to make money, if you want to have a great physique, if you want to have success with women, and I'm not just talking about scoring, I'm talking about success in whatever way that you choose, you define. You can define what all these things mean to you. Make sure that you're around people who have those things. Okay? If you're around a bunch of losers who basically make you feel better about yourself because they are in the same boat as you and they're crying and whining and bitching, that's what you're going to become. Like, you're not going to escape that bucket.
I 100% agree here. There's a saying I'm sure many of you have heard in the past that goes, "Show me your friends and I will show you your future." And it is extremely true. No matter how stoic you think you are influenced by your environment. The company you keep leaves small but noticeable markings on your persona that make it apparent what kind of person you are becoming. This is the reason why I couldn't stomach content from creators like TFM and Undead Chronic. It was always confrontational and negative, and did nothing to progress me as a person. I'm lucky I was able to find MGTOW through channels like Happy Humble Hermit and Sunrise Hoodie, because those guys have a clear message in their videos. In fact, the first video I ever watched, and the video that is still my favorite to this day, is the one titled "Women Are Born, Men Are Made" by Hermit. That video is extremely empowering because it invokes the viewer to take their life into their own hands, no matter how unfair or fucked up society is. But if you notice, he doesn't spend the video complaining about how women get a free pass or that society doesn't care about you. He instead makes the focus of the video your personal journey, while only sparingly referencing how easy women have it, but only so far as to punctuate his point. This is what MGTOW content should be. Content that empowers men, not content that diminishes women.
One of the things that I think is missing from the masculinity of today and from MGTOW and all these things is the actual caring for other human beings and the love, right? As a man, you are called to bring your gifts into the world to make the world a better place.
I agree that men should be using their gifts to make the world a better place, but that must also come with some sort of compensation for their efforts. Positive reinforcement makes behavior more likely to be repeated, while negative reinforcement disincentivizes that behavior. If you want men to begin participating in society and helping build it, you must give them a positive reward for doing it. If not, there will be no motivation to participate. However, our current zeitgeist is even worse because it punishes men for trying to assert their dominance on the world, especially during their most formative years as adolescents. This conditioning sticks with them throughout their life and is only repaired if they actively recognize that it is a problem and deprogram themselves from it. That's about all I want to say for this video. This will most likely be the last video I make responding to the Bulldog Mindset because, quite frankly, I don't think he's too far opposed to MGTOW itself, but rather the mobs that swarm his videos. In my opinion, he's a lot better than the tradcons like PragerU, who actively try to herd men into the slaughterhouse without addressing any of the problems that men want addressed. At the same time, I don't want MGTOW to become this mob mentality where they attack anyone who has even the slightest disagreement with them. That defeats the whole purpose of going your own way, if you don't forge your own path, but instead find a new shepherd. But yeah, let me know what you think down below. Like and subscribe to see more content like this, and as always, stay prosperous.